Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and this is going to be a brief little review for DC Comics' New 52, Catwoman, Volume 2 trade paperback, Dollhouse, collecting issues 7 through 12 of the current New 52 run. Written by Judd Winnick, with art primarily by Gila March and Adriana Mello, as well as a few others, and lettering by Carlos M. Manguel and Desi Ciente. This volume sees Selina sidled up with a new fence in the form of Gwen Altamont, who effectively takes Selina in when the chips are down, under the promise of keeping her from getting too wild or taking too many risks, as Selina herself seems to feel that she needs guidance and someone to keep her in line, for fear of losing it all as she lost her friend and former fence, Lola, in the first trade volume. A situation that seems to be mutually beneficial for the most part. It's thanks to Gwen that Selina's cat burglary sites are extended to include high-priced cars, which she has lots of fun snatching after paying off hookers to lead unsuspecting Johns to desolate garages in the middle of the night. But it's not as if the burning rubber Catwoman leaves in her wake is going unnoticed. In fact, she's suspected to be the culprit of these thefts by the man who is said to be the last good cop in the Gotham PD, Detective Carlos Alvarez, who'd previously let Selina go when some of the precinct's dirtier cops brought her in to be pulverized by the superpowered Reach, also in the previous volume. Now, however, Alvarez wants to sink his teeth into Catwoman, bring her to justice, that is, and is catching hell for even mentioning her alias by his dirty higher-ups. As it turns out, the good detective isn't the only one with his eyes on the prize, as a fellow car thief, the electricity-manipulating powered Spark, too has an interest in her, only his is more of a wanting partnership with her, or so it seems at least at first. Selina readily accepts Spark's proposal of working together, and a few jobs in, they land themselves right in the direct line of sight of the Court of Owls, this spinning off from a previous job wherein the two were seeking antique daggers, only to find one having gone missing. Turns out the last dagger is in the possession of the one, the only, Penguin. And I love the banter between Selina and Gwen when she's outlining the theft of the final blade in response to Gwen's questioning if she means the mobster Penguin or not. Selina replies, "No, Gwen, a penguin at the aquarium. An actual flightless bird has a 300-year-old knife we're trying to steal." Love it. But going after said knife brings on a confrontation with a Frame Newhouse, sent by the Court of Owls to take down the Penguin. It's only when a Frame is dumbstruck by the reveal of the age-old dagger that Catwoman is able to cease his fighting them. However, the issue is brought to a penultimate close by Penguin himself, who shoots the owl in the head with a customary umbrella gun, suggesting to Selina as she departs that he'll owe her one for intervening. After which, she and Spark resume their late-night casing of potential thefts, only to realize hookers, junkies, and other street kids are being knocked out and kidnapped, and without so much as a question being asked or investigation being carried out in response to it. Enter the titular villain, Dollhouse, who is carrying out these kidnappings for a sickly, nefarious purpose, the black market selling of bodily organs. Selina, having lived life on the streets herself and knowing full well what it felt like to be thrown away and never sought after or saved, becomes obsessed with finding out what's going on and helping these kids, ultimately leading her to the gender-unspecific Dollhouse, who outlines his or herself as being third generation after Toyman and Dollmaker respectively. And while Selina has boldly resolved to enter the Lion's Den, she isn't going it alone, calling on Spark, Alvarez, and even the Dark Knight to aid her in her trumping of Dollhouse. Gwen, too, as it turns out, unbeknownst to Selina as the volume comes to a close, has a trump of her own to dish out when she receives a call that suggests someone in their party is indeed a truly dirty dog. And I can only wait to find out in the next volume how Selina is going to react to this when she finds out about it. I've really gotten a kick out of Winnick's take on Selina through these two volumes, and I'm a bit sad to see him go as this finishes his run on the title. He brought some intriguing aspects to her in the first volume, most notably the straddling of psychosis and scarring that come with the hardships she faced all through growing up. We don't get a lot of that in this volume, at least not to such extreme degrees as we've seen previously, as this is a bit more about her coming to grips with it and getting back to business being somewhat of a catharsis. There are still some signs of lingering aspects of this, however, in her unfailing distrust of Spark, for example, as she wants to trust him, but under the guise of playful flirting, she makes their interactions seem to be more of a game, so as to keep herself distanced. There's also the all-consuming obsession she has with seeking out the kidnapper revealed as Dollhouse, her relationships with Gwen and Spark being either altogether closed off or tumultuous at best as a result. It probably would have been nice to delve a little more into Dollhouse's motivations along these lines as well. I feel like in some aspects this was cast aside for the family line summary, as if there should should be no real question as to why Dollhouse is carrying out these actions, simply because we're told that he or she relates to villains past. But Selina herself remains adorably snarky, and her inner monologues give off a lot of relatable states of mind that make her title an overall enjoyable read. As for the art, Guillaume March's efforts are dialed back in this volume, as he too is transitioning toward the end of his run on the title. I maintain, however, that I love the way he draws Selina, specifically her facial expressions, which always give me a laugh or allow me to feel the emotions she's feeling. As ever, March is able to sling the characters into whatever situation Winnick outlines in a complimentary way, and it just makes a win overall for this book. The alternative artist in the piece, Adriana Mello, also shines in depicting action sequences and bringing depth to the mood-shifting story as it unfolds. This is my introduction to any of Mello's work, and I have to say, while it's largely well done, there are aspects of it that don't conform to my own particular tastes. I personally had the opposite reaction to several of the close-up facial expressions, for example, depicted in the books featuring Mello's handiwork, than I did with March's. Whereas March's at once seemed to me cute and funny, and on occasions dramatic and full of feeling, Mello's have come across as exaggerated and slightly unsettling to look at. But these few brief moments don't take away from the rest of the work Mello puts in, which isn't too far off par from March's work in my estimation. This volume isn't always as colorful as I'd prefer it to be from one book to the next. There isn't any real sense of discontinuity per se, just that some scenes play out with an almost drab sepia shading that comes across a bit too much in places for my personal taste, which all leaves me feeling that while this volume still looks pretty good from cover to cover, it's still not quite as good as the first one. But again, this is speaking more to my own personal preferences. In any case, Dollhouse is an interesting story with equally interesting characterizations. I have to also commend the seamless side story tie-in of the Court of Owls arc that is expertly put into place as if it was always meant to be there, as well as note the chuckle-inducing repurposed bat signal turned cat signal, the means by which Selina gets a message to Batman herein, as being just one of a few oddball laughs to be found, those laughs largely playing a part in making this an entertaining read. And so I'll be rating DC's New 52 Catwoman Volume 2 trade Dollhouse a 3.5. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of this volume if you've read it. What do you think of the New 52 take on Selina Kyle overall? And otherwise, that'll be it for me on this one. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you later. Peace.